The CEOs of the tech companies each apologized for failing to foresee that once COVID restrictions were released, the excessive online behavior of their users would revert to normal. Therefore, their predictions of growth in areas like streaming and e-commerce were completely incorrect. They would need to drastically reduce prices because costs were rising and growth was stagnant. There would be a wave of layoffs. In this video, I will be sharing why big tech companies like Amazon, Meta, and Netflix, among many others, are facing massive layoffs. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel for more intriguing videos like this, and be sure to watch this video to the end. Without further ado, let's dive into it. There appear to be new batches of layoffs every week in the IT sector. It started with smaller, emerging companies that needed to keep a close eye on their ongoing spending early this year, and has now moved to industry giants like Meta and Amazon. According to reports, Amazon intends to fire a whopping 10,000 employees. This follows Elon Musk operating a perpetual revolving door at Twitter and Meta laying off 11,000 employees in the previous weeks. Although it would likely be simpler to list the businesses that haven't let any employees go this year, those who did include many more well-known brands, including Uber, Airbnb, Zillow, Coinbase, Netflix, Spotify, Peloton, Shopify, Robinhood, and Stripe. What's going on, though, and why? Why are so many tech businesses, especially those that are still making substantial profits, laying off so many workers? Although the specifics will vary from firm to company, there are a few overarching trends that are having an impact on Silicon Valley and beyond. The pandemic hiring frenzy. This significant round of layoffs is, in many respects, a correction for an earlier error. During the years of the epidemic, we were able to live our only lives online. No Saturday night bars, no commuting to work, no pickup basketball matches, no dance recitals. Since we were all forced to stay home, we spent more time online. Not just a rising retail outlet, but the sole one now is online shopping, along with replacing movies, eating out, working during lunch, and having date evenings. Netflix, Amazon Prime, and myriad other streaming services have also done the same for meals. Despite the upheaval in the world, this increase in internet activity was beneficial for tech firms. They brought in record high revenue, which led to record high profits and a hiring frenzy that resulted in high compensation and perks for engineers, developers, and other tech professionals. Many tech companies believe this to be the beginning of a new normal. The world's office workers almost all switched to working from home, which resulted in a significant change in how we lived. Tech businesses employed in line with their expectations that this transformation would become permanent. They developed generally, rapidly grew in size, and formed new teams. This was made worse by the requirement for built-in redundancy in major businesses. If a Meta team needs 25 people to keep the application they are working on up and running, then that team probably needs 30 or more actual employees, not because there is enough work for 30 engineers to complete each day, but rather to protect the business if several important employees leave. It's a typical occurrence in the tech sector, and it probably meant that many of these businesses hired even more employees than they anticipated would be required to handle the ongoing increase in demand. Since everything has returned to normal, it is obvious that the future predictions made by CEOs like Mark Zuckerberg and Brian Armstrong, Coinbase, weren't entirely accurate. The post-COVID reality. Yes, working remotely has gained a lot more acceptance. Today, a lot of office professionals have flexible work schedules that allow them to work from home occasionally. But hybrid work has also grown significantly in popularity. Many workers and employers want some time in the workplace to communicate, discuss ideas, and establish a business culture. We've moved past the days of having every meeting hosted automatically online, even though tools like Zoom and Google Meet are still widely used. The situation is considerably more severe outside of work. Life outside of work is quite similar to how it was before the pandemic in many aspects. Weekend sports have begun, bars and restaurants are once busier, and vacations have returned. After 2 protracted years of sobriety, many people are even more fascinated by these things. The outcome: too many individuals were hired by tech companies, And these are highly skilled software engineers and developers earning low to mid six-figure salaries, not part-time administrative assistants making $10 an hour, not to mention the comprehensive package's excellent benefits, amenities, and even stock options. Redundancy requires some overstaffing, but it's obvious that in many businesses, it's gone too far. Why are tech giants struggling? During the pandemic, some tech companies experienced a spike in business, but the joy was fleeting. The main cause is the economic downturn and the fierce competition, which forced businesses to plan for organizational reorganization and even lay off workers. This can be related to the fact that corporations reduce expenses when the economy is weak, which leads to layoffs. A privacy update from Apple has caused Meta, in particular, problems and has costed more than $10 billion in lost advertising income. The same fate awaits Google's advertising division. The economic situation and a potential recession. Now, if the tech industry's growth prospects were strong, this predicament wouldn't necessarily be a significant worry. If you've just hired them a little bit too early, hiring too many individuals isn't a problem. Having such roles on the books a year early won't break the money for businesses like Meta or Alphabet if you anticipate hiring for them in 6 to 12 months anyhow. The problem is that the near future doesn't appear to be very promising. It has been reported for several months that the US is ostensibly entering a recession. Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and many more in recent months have joined Brian Armstrong as some of the early critics of it. Fewer consumer purchasing, and more significantly for many internet companies, lower advertising spending would both result from a recession. When Meta mentioned they anticipated Q4 and early 2023 advertising income to be less robust than it has been, they made it plain that they were addressing this during the most recent Q3 earnings call. An IT company's investment must be limited in light of these upcoming difficulties to safely navigate the tumultuous period. What do tech layoffs mean for investors? In light of all this news of layoffs, how has the market responded? Quite well in the case of Meta and Amazon. You see, there is a big difference between firing employees because you're worried about keeping the company afloat and firing them to save costs and appease the stockholders. For the largest businesses, a large payroll simply affects how much profit they'll make, not whether the business will continue. Large layoffs may be an indication that a startup or business in its growth period is in peril. Businesses like Peloton or Groupon are a couple of examples that trend more towards that end of the spectrum. This indicates that navigating IT investment has gotten harder than ever. It can be difficult to distinguish between businesses that are downsizing as part of the regular economic cycle and those that are dealing with more serious issues with their operations. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, hit the subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell to watch more videos like this. While you're here, click one of the 2 other videos on your screen to watch. See you later.